Hello all, this is the second part of the video explaining chapter 15 of Science Class 9. Do watch the video till end to understand the concept well. We'll be discussing animal husbandry in this video. Animal husbandry is the scientific management of animal livestock including their feeding, breeding and disease control. So, what happens under animal husbandry? Under animal husbandry, animals are bred commercially and taken care of in order to meet the high demand for food. So, we'll be studying it under four broad categories. First is cattle farming, second is poultry farming, third is pisciculture, and fourth is beekeeping. So, let's study each of these categories in detail. The first category is cattle farming. Here, we rear, breed, and provide shelter to the cattle that provide us food. Now, the cattle farming involves two types of animals, one group for food requirements like in the dairy industry and another for labor purposes which are called as draft animals. The animals under first category, which are milk producing animals, are called as milch animals, and the draft animals are used for agricultural work such as plowing, tilling, irrigation, etc. Let's study about the milch animals now. So, milk production depends on the duration of the lactation period. What is lactation period? It is the period of milk production after the birth of a calf. So, milk production can be increased by increasing the lactation period. The foreign cow breeds, example Jersey and Brown Swiss, have long lactation period, and the local breeds such as Red Sindhi and Sahiwal have high resistance to diseases. So these two breeds are crossed to get animals with both the desired qualities. Now let's see the ways by which we can improve cattle farming. So the first is cattle shelter should be clean and well ventilated with sloping floors for easy cleaning, right? Second is cattle feed should include roughage containing mainly fiber and concentrates containing protein and other nutrients. Third is, as we know that cattle diseases are caused by parasites, bacteria and virus. So external parasites cause skin diseases and internal parasites like worms affect stomach and intestine and flukes damage the liver. So vaccinations are given to protect from viral and bacterial diseases. Now let's come to poultry farming. So poultry farming is raising different types of domestic birds commercially for the purpose of meat, eggs and feather production also. Improved poultry breeds are developed continuously to produce layers for eggs and broilers for meat. Broiler here signifies the chicken that is bred and raised specifically for meat production. Crossbreeding between Indian varieties like Asil, as you can see in the figure, and foreign varieties like Leghorn is done to develop new varieties. Now let's have a look at the ways by which we can improve our poultry farming. For good production of poultry birds, they are given proper nutrition and kept in hygienic conditions and proper temperature conditions. Broiler chickens are fed with vitamin, protein, and fat rich feed for better growth. Poultry fowls are affected by diseases caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, and parasites. So, they are protected from diseases by proper sanitation, spraying disinfectants, and vaccination. Now, let's come to pisciculture. Pisciculture, which is also known as fish farming, is rearing and breeding of fish in a controlled manner. Here, the fishes are reared and raised in enclosures such as open nets, tanks, and ponds. The fish production mainly involves two types of fishes. First is finned fish, which is also called as true fish. The examples of the true fish, that is catla and rohu, are given below. Now let's move towards the next type of fish, that is shellfish. Shellfishes are those fishes that have external skeleton or exoskeleton. Example of shellfishes are given below. First is prawn and second is mollusks. Now as you can see, fish farming can be done in two ways. First is capture fishing and second is culture fishing. Now, capture fishing, as the name suggests, it is capturing fish from natural resources like seawater or fresh water. And culture fishing, it involves culturing the fish in small enclosures. Now, the water source of the fish can also be of two types, either seawater or freshwater, such as rivers and ponds. So, based upon the type of the source, the fishing can be of further two types. First is marine fishery, and second is inland fishery. Let's come to marine fishery, where fishes are extracted from seawater. So, fishing in saltwater regions is called marine fishery, and that saltwater region includes 7,500 kilometers of the Indian coastline. Marine fishes are caught using many kinds of fishing nets from fishing boats. Yields are increased by locating large schools of fish in the open sea using satellites. Now, as marine fish stocks get further depleted, the demand for more fish can only be met by mariculture, which involves culturing of fish in marine water. Some popular marine fishes are, as you can see in the figure, mackerel, pomfret, and tuna. Now, some marine fishes are of high economic value, so they are also farmed in seawater. Examples of such fishes are bhetki, oyster, pearl spots, and pearl. Now, let's come to inland fishery. Here, freshwater resources include canals, ponds, reservoirs, and rivers. Brackish water sources are the sources where seawater and fresh water mix together to form lagoons and estuary. Since here capture fishing is also done in such inland water bodies, the yield is not high. So, most fish production from these resources is through aquaculture. Here, the first figure is showing fishing in the freshwater body, and the second figure is showing fishing in the brackish water body. Now, let's better understand estuaries and lagoons. An estuary is an area where a freshwater river or stream meets the ocean. In estuaries, the salty ocean mixes with a freshwater river, resulting in brackish water. From the figure, you can understand a river is coming with its fresh water and getting mixed with the salty water of the ocean to make brackish water in between. While a lagoon is a shallow body of water which is separated from a larger body of water by barrier islands or reefs. Now let's come to composite fish farming. Fish culture is sometimes done in combination with a rice crop so that fish are grown in the water in the paddy field. More intensive fish farming can be done in composite fish culture systems. In this system, both local and imported fish species, a combination of 5 or 6 fishes, is used in a single fish pond. And fishes are selected in such a way that they do not compete for food among themselves, having different food habits. Hence, as a result, the food available in all the parts of the pond is used. Fish used in this system include ketla and silver carp, which are surface feeders, rohu, a column feeder, and mriggle and common carp, which are bottom feeders. Let's make it clear with the help of a figure. Now, as you can see, grass carp, which is a weed feeder, will feed upon the weeds. Next is surface feeder, which is catla. So it will feed only upon the food that is present on the surface. Then we have middle zone feeder, which is rohu, will feed on the food that is in the middle of the water body. And then we have bottom feeder, which is mriggle and common carp. They will feed upon the food that is present at the base of the water body. Hence, as the result, all the food present in all the parts of the water body will be properly utilized. Now, what is the quality of fish seed that we get from composite fish culture? One problem with such composite fish culture is that many of these fishes breed only during monsoon. So even if seed is collected from the wild, it can be mixed with that of other species as well. So a major problem in fish farming is the lack of availability of good quality seed. So to overcome this problem, ways have now been worked out to breed these fish in ponds using hormonal stimulation. Due to hormonal stimulation, we get the supply of pure fish seed in desired quantities. Now the last topic is beekeeping. As honey is widely used and therefore beekeeping for making honey has become an agricultural enterprise. The practice of keeping or rearing, caring and management of honey bee on a large scale for commercial purposes for obtaining honey and wax is called apiculture. Apiary is the location where bees are kept. In addition to honey, wax is also extracted from beehives. Honey is used as a source of energy and also has a medicinal use, while wax is used in medicinal preparations and for making polishes. The quality of honey or value depends upon pasturage or the flowers available to the bees for nectar and pollen collection. In addition to adequate quantity of pasturage, the kind of flowers available will determine the taste of the honey. In the figure, you can see an Indian variety of honeybee which is Apis cerana and an Italian variety of honeybee which is Apis mellifera. Italian varieties of honeybees are preferred over Indian varieties for commercial honey production. This is because the Italian bees have high honey collection capacity, they sting somewhat less, they stay in a given beehive for long periods and breed very well. Now let's summarize the points that we have read so far. First is, animal husbandry is the scientific management of animal livestock including their feeding, breeding and disease control. Then we have cattle farming which is done for two purposes, milk and draft labor. Then we have poultry farming which is done for egg production and chicken meat. Then we have fish farming which is rearing of fish for food in enclosures such as fish ponds. Fish farming is done from two major sources, marine and inland sources. Then we read about beekeeping which is done for honey and wax. So this was all about this chapter. In the end, I have a question for you. Give an example of an Indian species of buffaloes. Answer the question by commenting below. So as I say, if you have any doubt regarding this video, you can ask in the comments below and you can also give your suggestions for improving the video. To get update for the next video, do subscribe the channel. See you in the next video with the new chapter. Take care and goodbye.